Hold up. Don't swipe away. You're catching this message at the exact moment your life is shifting, and deep down, you can feel it happening. There's a reason this video found you right now. It's more connected to your truth than you realize. Have you felt your mood changing for no clear reason? Noticed sudden opportunities appearing? Or people drifting out of your life without explanation? Most people brush these things off, but they usually show up right before everything takes a major turn. Your path is rearranging itself, and the pressure you've been feeling isn't random. It's the final stretch before a huge breakthrough. In this video, I'm going to walk you through 7 unmistakable signs that your reality is on the verge of a massive transformation. These signals can help you understand why things feel intense, why certain chapters are closing, and why a new direction is forming quickly. Stick with me, because if even one of these signs resonates with you, it means you're standing at the edge of a powerful shift. Your next chapter isn't waiting for later. It's coming in now. Lately, you might feel a strange sense of disconnect, almost like you're mentally stepping away from the life you're currently living. Nothing dramatic may have happened, yet you feel restless, impatient, or simply done with how things are. That feeling isn't boredom. It's your inner self, realizing that the old version of your life no longer matches where you're headed. Whenever a major breakthrough is near, your comfort zone starts feeling uncomfortable. Routines that once felt normal suddenly feel frustrating or heavy. You might wake up thinking, "I can't keep doing this," or find yourself irritated by things that never used to bother you. This isn't failure, it's growth. It's your inner compass pushing you towards something bigger. For many people, this shows up as random surges of motivation, a sudden urge to change habits, or an unexplained desire to start something new. You might feel drawn to different hobbies, work paths, relationships, or environments that match the person you're becoming. That restless energy is a sign you're outgrowing an old version of yourself. Instead of resisting that feeling, pay attention to it. It's your internal guidance system preparing you for what's coming. It often appears right before new opportunities reveal themselves. Another major sign is when your intuition starts speaking louder than usual. You may suddenly feel pulled toward a choice or direction, even if it doesn't fully make sense yet. It might show up as a persistent thought, a feeling that change is close, or a strong urge to take action. These nudges appear when life is shifting things in your favor behind the scenes. Your intuition senses alignment before your mind can understand it. Maybe you feel called to reach out to someone, apply for a job, start a project, or walk away from something that no longer feels right. You may not know where it leads, but a voice inside you keeps saying, "Go for it." Some people feel this through their body, like a sudden calm when thinking about a new path, or discomfort when imagining staying where they are. Others notice repeating signs in their environment, hearing the same message repeatedly, seeing synchronicities, or feeling unusually confident about a new direction. These intuitive pushes aren't random. They're pointing you toward your next stage of growth. When that inner nudge appears, trust it. It often leads you exactly where you need to go. Another unmistakable sign is unexpected opportunities showing up in your life. You might get a message from someone you haven't talked to in ages, receive an invitation that fits perfectly with what you need, or stumble across resources that align with your goals. These moments often feel too perfect to be coincidences, like everything is lining up at just the right time. It can happen in small ways too, discovering a course that fits your interests, someone offering support when you needed it most, or a job opening that feels like it was made for you. Sometimes it's even simpler, like hearing a sentence that gives you clarity, or getting a fresh idea that suddenly clicks. What makes these moments powerful is the timing. They usually appear right after a period of feeling stuck, drained, or frustrated. It's life shifting your direction, opening doors that weren't accessible before. Whenever something shows up at the perfect moment, don't ignore it. These opportunities are signs that the momentum around you is picking up. When they appear, stay flexible and open to saying yes. Your breakthrough might be happening right in front of you. Another strong sign of transformation is emotional clarity. Things that once felt complicated suddenly become obvious. You might wake up and instantly know how you feel about a person, a job, a habit, or a decision you've been avoiding. Instead of going back and forth, you just know what's right. This often follows a long stretch of confusion, months of questioning, hesitating, or weighing options. Then, almost overnight, the uncertainty fades. You might think, "I'm done with this," or "This is where I'm going next." That clarity isn't random. It's your mind and heart finally syncing up. You may also find that things that used to drain you no longer have any power. Arguments feel pointless. Drama is easier to walk away from. You stop explaining yourself, stop seeking approval, and start choosing peace. This emotional sharpness is a sign that you're stepping into a higher version of yourself. When you know what you want, decisions become easier, and your life begins to move forward faster. This clarity is one of the strongest indicators that you're ready for the next phase of your life. One of the clearest signs that you're approaching a breakthrough is when certain people begin to fade from your life. At first, this can feel confusing or even painful, especially when it involves people who've been close to you for years. But this distance often happens because your growth no longer fits the roles or expectations they were used to. Sometimes the shift is subtle. Conversations start feeling forced, replies get slower, or the connection just doesn't land the way it once did. Other times, it's abrupt. Someone stops reaching out, cancels plans repeatedly, or simply disappears without any real reason. This isn't always about conflict, it's about alignment. When you evolve, your energy changes, and not everyone is meant to walk with you into the next chapter. You might also notice that you're the one pulling away. Certain friendships, environments, or habits start to feel heavy instead of comforting. You lose interest in negativity, drama, and the routines that used to feel normal. That shift isn't a sign of loss, it's a sign of growth. You're outgrowing the version of yourself those relationships were built around. Breakthroughs often require space. When certain people exit your life, they create room for connections that actually match where you're heading. Instead of seeing these exits as rejection, view them as redirection. Life is clearing the path so the right people and the right energy can come in. And as some people drift out, new faces begin to appear. People who encourage you, uplift you, and surprisingly align with your goals or mindset. These connections usually show up naturally. Maybe you meet someone online who shares your vision, reconnect with an old friend who suddenly understands you better, or cross paths with someone who gets you without a long explanation. What makes these new relationships stand out is how they make you feel. Conversations leave you energized instead of drained. You feel heard, supported, and inspired. Sometimes they offer insight, opportunity, or emotional support without you even asking. They notice your strengths and potential in ways others never did. Their presence boosts your confidence in the direction you're heading. These new connections can appear in the most ordinary places, at work, in a comment section, during a routine errand, but the timing feels intentional, almost like they arrived exactly when you needed guidance or encouragement. These are signs that your whole environment is upgrading to match your growth. Life is aligning you with people who will push you forward, cheer you on, and help shape your next chapter. Pay close attention to those who bring motivation, clarity, and momentum into your life. They may play a key role in your upcoming breakthrough. Another unmistakable sign of a breakthrough is when your sense of drive suddenly skyrockets. Tasks that used to feel draining or kept getting postponed start feeling doable again. You might wake up feeling lighter, more focused, and ready to take action instead of pushing everything off. This shift often follows a long stretch of feeling stuck or unmotivated. It's not just random energy, it's your mind and body gearing up for change. You might start cleaning your space, reorganizing your schedule, biting into projects you've been avoiding, or finally committing to goals you've been thinking about forever. The best part? This motivation doesn't feel forced. You want to move forward. Old excuses lose their grip, and progress feels more satisfying than staying comfortable. You might notice you're more productive, more focused, and more willing to push through challenges. This surge of motivation is your mindset shifting from survival to expansion. Your energy is syncing with the opportunities forming around you, preparing you to receive them. When you feel this spark, follow it. Small steps taken during this phase can lead to big changes very quickly. Another strong sign is when your mind feels more alive and imaginative than usual. Ideas seem to pop into your head out of nowhere. Ideas for new projects, solutions to old problems, or fresh ways to improve your life. These thoughts might hit you in the shower, on a walk, or just as you're trying to fall asleep, and they feel exciting and meaningful. This flow of creativity happens because your perspective is expanding. As you approach a breakthrough, your mind begins seeing possibilities that were invisible before. You start connecting dots, noticing solutions, and envisioning paths that once seemed impossible. This shift reflects a more confident, empowered version of you emerging. For some people, this shows up as business ideas, the urge to learn something new, or the desire to express themselves creatively. For others, it's clarity about how to change their routines, boundaries, or long-term goals. The important part isn't the idea itself, it's how energized and aligned it feels. These aren't random thoughts. They're signals that your inner creativity is awakening and guiding you toward the next level of your life. Write them down. One of these ideas might be the exact spark that leads to your breakthrough. Another major indicator that change is approaching is the quiet feeling of closure. You may start looking at certain habits, relationships, or environments and realize they no longer hold emotional weight. Things that once consumed your thoughts, memories, mistakes, people, feel distant or irrelevant. This often happens silently. You stop replaying old conversations. You no longer feel the urge to prove yourself. Old temptations lose their appeal, and familiar patterns that once comforted you now feel empty. It's not about anger or resentment. It's a peaceful understanding that you've moved beyond that chapter. You might catch yourself feeling indifferent about reconnecting with someone who once meant a lot. Or you might realize you're no longer drawn to the places or behaviors that once defined you. Instead, your attention shifts toward the future, even if you can't fully see it yet. This sense of closure is powerful. It frees up emotional and mental space, allowing new experiences and opportunities to come in. Feeling done is a clear sign that you're ready, mentally, emotionally, and energetically, for the breakthrough forming in your life. And one of the most exciting signals is the appearance of meaningful coincidences. You might see repeating numbers, hear the same message from different places, or keep running into the right people at the perfect moment. These synchronicities can be surprising, almost like little messages pointing you in the right direction. Maybe you're thinking about changing careers and suddenly notice videos, conversations, or posts about that exact field. Or you're weighing a big decision and someone unexpectedly brings up the same topic, giving you clarity without knowing your situation. These moments feel too perfectly timed to ignore. Synchronicities appear when you're aligning with a new direction. Your awareness sharpens, and you begin noticing the signs guiding you forward. They help reassure you that you're headed the right way, even during uncertain moments. Don't dismiss them. Pay attention to how they make you feel. If something keeps appearing in your life, it's worth exploring why. These signs act like markers along your path, letting you know that you're moving toward your breakthrough. Another powerful indicator is when help or guidance shows up exactly when you need it, even without you asking. This support can come through a conversation, a video that speaks to your situation, a message from someone you haven't heard from in a long time, or a sudden insight that clears up confusion instantly. What makes this guidance stand out is how perfectly timed and specific it feels. You might be stuck on a decision, unsure of the next step, and then something appears that gives you the exact clarity you were missing. A friend tells a story that mirrors your own experience, or you stumble onto information that solves a problem you've been battling for weeks. The accuracy of these moments can feel almost unreal. Sometimes guidance doesn't come from outside. It arrives quietly from within. It might show up as a peaceful realization, a sudden moment of clarity, or a feeling that settles in your chest without any overthinking. You may catch yourself saying, "I can't explain it, but this feels right." And that certainty brings comfort and direction. This kind of insight appears when you're aligned with change. It's life nudging you forward, offering subtle cues and reassurance that you're on the right track. Instead of doubting it, honor it. When clarity shows up out of nowhere, it's often a sign that your breakthrough is being guided, and you're not moving through this transition alone. Another major indicator that a breakthrough is close is when you start to feel different within yourself, not just in your thoughts, but in how you see who you are. The identity you've held for years begins to shift. The labels, roles, and stories you've carried don't fit anymore. You may find yourself thinking, "I'm not that person now," even before your outside world changes. This internal shift usually begins quietly. Certain behaviors no longer feel natural, not because you're acting differently, but because you're acting more like your true self. You might speak up more, set stronger boundaries, or make decisions based on your own needs instead of pleasing others. Old insecurities lose their grip, and your confidence grows. For many people, this looks like new interests, new ambitions, or a renewed sense of purpose. You might feel drawn to spaces and people who reflect your evolving self, while those who only know the old you feel harder to connect with. Even the way you talk about your future becomes more hopeful and intentional. Identity shifts are powerful. They transform how you think, move, and choose. When you begin seeing yourself as capable, worthy, and ready for change, your actions naturally follow. This inner evolution is one of the strongest signs that you're stepping into a new chapter with greater authenticity and self-awareness. A surprising sign that you're approaching a major shift is when letting go becomes effortless. Things you used to cling to, whether people, habits, routines, or old beliefs stop feeling worth the emotional effort. Instead of fighting to hold on, you release them gently without the usual stress or resistance. It can feel strange at first. You may notice you're not as upset when something ends, or you don't feel the urge to explain yourself like you once did. Situations that used to trigger you now feel irrelevant. You find yourself thinking, "I'm okay with this," or "this no longer belongs in my life," and feeling completely at peace. This ease comes from growth. You're learning what genuinely supports you and what drains your energy. You stop engaging with negativity. You lose interest in time-wasting habits, and you naturally distance yourself from anything that doesn't align with your future. You're not forcing change. You're simply no longer attached to what holds you back. Letting go without struggle is a major indicator that you're moving forward. As you release the weight of old attachments, you create space for new opportunities, healthier relationships, and better experiences. It shows you're becoming emotionally stronger and preparing for the breakthrough approaching your life. Another sign is the sudden urge to clean, organize, or clear things out, both mentally and physically. You might look around your space and feel an overwhelming need to throw things away, rearrange your room, or tidy up areas you've ignored for months. This isn't about being tidy. It's your inner world pushing you to make space for new energy. When you're nearing a breakthrough, your environment starts to feel connected to your emotions. Old belongings carry memories and versions of you that no longer feel relevant. Clutter can create a sense of heaviness because it represents a chapter you're outgrowing. This clearing instinct can also show up digitally, deleting files, unfollowing accounts, cleaning out messages, or organizing things you've put off forever. You may even feel the urge to reduce commitments or remove responsibilities that drain your time. What's most interesting is the sense of relief you feel afterward. As you clear physical or digital space, your mind becomes lighter and more focused. This isn't just tidying, it's preparation. You're removing old energy, so new opportunities, insights, and relationships have room to enter. It's a strong sign that you're stepping into a fresh chapter where growth can finally happen. Another powerful sign is when your dreams become more vivid, symbolic, or emotionally charged. You may start having dreams that clearly mirror what you're going through in your waking life. Some people dream of moving to new places, climbing stairs, discovering open doors, symbols of transition and progress. Others dream of people from their past, which often reflects emotional closure or deep healing taking place beneath the surface. You might wake up with clarity about a situation, as if your mind worked through something important while you slept. Dreams act as a bridge between your inner world and your waking life. When a breakthrough is near, your subconscious becomes more active, helping you release old patterns and prepare for what's ahead. You may dream of leaving behind an old version of yourself, cutting ties, or finally achieving something you've been aiming for. Even if the dream feels unusual, the emotions afterward make sense. You might wake up feeling lighter, more centered, or unexpectedly sure about a decision. Before you go, drop this affirmation in the comments. I am ready for my breakthrough. Write it, own it, and let that energy lead the way. If this message resonated with you, share your thoughts below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay.